There you go.
I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yay!
There's your mic.
I might trade it for the world, but just a friendly heads up.
Right? I mean, if the world was actually the trade.
Yeah, if I could get the world out of it, and then I'd be like, and by the by, everyone has to listen to our podcast now.
Right.
They'd be like, that wasn't the deal.
But the world is mine, and you live within it, and you must follow my rules now.
My podcast. 30-odd billion people.
Yes.
All right, and hello, and welcome to Basement Faults and Catapults. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron.
And I'm Trevor.
And here we're going to look at games, genres, and the things we enjoy in gaming.
And to do that, we're going to randomly select a genre every episode.
And then we'll give a brief rundown of that genre.
And then we'll select 2 games. One of these games will be the absolute best in show, while the other, for whatever reason, is not very good. The catch, and what we hope will be the fun part, is neither of us will have played, or at least played heavily, the titles the other has selected.
Yeah, so we're going to be taking those titles, the best and the worst. We're going to divide them up. We're going to give it an hour of playtime, and then we're going to meet back up and chat about our experiences.
That's when we'll give our own opinions of the other's game, celebrate where we agree, and refrain from murdering each other where we disagree. After all, not everyone can have a perfect opinion.
And that's it. We hope that you'll join us, listen in, maybe be inspired to try a few titles along the way. You know, or let us know exactly why our opinions are trash.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, what do we want to remember today?
HR is not there for you. HR is there for the company. I don't know.
Yeah. And remember, it's Grogu, not Baby Yoda. There you go. There you go. I'll just throw that one out there.
There you go. Grogu.
Grogu.
Grogu. What a name.
Right.
What a name.
Grogu.
Not like the worst Star Wars name I've ever heard, but like definitely not up there.
I mean, hey, there's only so many names they can come up with like Yoda and Yodel and all these other ones.
Oh,
right?
yeah, because Clone Wars, the original Clone Wars, not the new series, because the original Clone Wars is considered non-canon now, had a female Yoda and like a young, like, I'm here to fight Yoda.
It was like Yaddle or something.
Yaddle,
like that.
Yaddle.
Yeah, Yoda and Yaddle.
Yodel, Yaddle.
That was the one derpy-looking female Yoda Muppet that was up on the Jedi Council in episode 1.
Yaddle was a Force sense. Oh, she was in the prequel. She's canon.
No, she was. Yeah, she was in the prequel. She was in the council chamber with Samuel L. Jackson's Mace Windu.
She's canon.
She's canon.
Then who's the other one? I can't find him, but that's fine. Okay, so for those of you who are new or newish to the series, we have an amazing random number generator that Trevor has spent at this stage minutes.
Countless minutes.
on producing. We have a bunch of genres. It's a really lovely Excel document. He pushes a button. We determine that button press with a D20. We roll that D20. That's how many times he pushes the button. Looks like he's got some other modifiers going on, maybe.
Oh, yeah. You know what? No, we're all good. We're all good. We're totally good to go.
And then, much like a slot machine, 3 options will come up. We'll pick the first option. If we've done the first option recently, we'll go to the second and the third. However, as a special bonus, we have a anime genre.
Yes, we do.
Which we're both pretty against playing.
Actually, I mean, I don't know. Based on our pre-banter, I think we're both very pro-anime.
I think we're against playing just because that would be telling on ourselves.
Yeah. We're finding more and more as we chat that maybe we have more in common than we thought.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So if all 3 of those come up, that genre, then we'll play that genre and try to give each other just the stupidest ones, and it would be a lot of fun. All right, so Trevor, there's a couple. Do you have any highlights you'd like the people to know about?
Yeah, for me, I've been playing a lot of Nightingale, and Nightingale is early access still. It is somewhere on my Steam list right now. There it is. Found it. So Nightingale, yeah, it's in the genre of open world survival. So it is a survival game.
Yep.
It's very grindy. It's not multiplayer until you've kind of beaten the single player grind, which took me about 45 hours.
Okay.
But I'm really enjoying it. It's Unreal Engine. It looks great. It plays great. I think they can do some really great things with this. The only thing I don't like about it is the characters look kind of derpy.
God, the character, yeah, the. I also play Nightingale. I love it. Inflection Gaming, they're local boys for us. They're an Edmonton-based studio. But yeah, their character models are very.
Hey, do you think we could reach out to Inflection and maybe get get them on the podcast for
Hey, that might be fun.
Like an episode, or just do an interview
why
with
not?
them? I think that'd
Why
be really
not?
sweet.
Let's do it. Let's.
I'm
Hey,
putting that in the notes.
the worst they can do is say no. We're not interested.
You know what? I would be really sad if they didn't, but I would understand.
I would totally. I was like, how many listeners do you have? We have 4. Yeah,
Right.
no, we're good. Like, okay.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be really cool to do like a highlight episode. On
Yeah,
Nightingale.
because like I said, I do enjoy Nightingale, and I don't want to trash on them, but
If we do an interview, I'll buy another one of these recorders and I'll bring my camera and we can actually like do a full
that'd be
a
amazing.
full interview. That'd be
that'd be
cool.
great.
I love it.
Okay, so there's that. So you're kind of hoping we could do a little bit of survival, are you?
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't mind survival. I mentioned to you earlier that deck building has kind of been a
Oh, I love a good deck builder.
yeah. We just added sci-fi, platformer, deck building, and farming to our genres. So we now have 41 total genres. Deck building is a game I've been trying for a while to find a good deck builder. I would love to play a good deck builder, and because I get to play a good game this time around,
Oh no!
I think deck building would be cool. But once and for all, we're gonna have to let the dice and the random
dice and the
generator
random
decide.
generator.
But how about you? What are you getting a hankering for today?
I could go for a fun roguelike. Like a Gun Greed or a there's a robot FPS one that just came out. I forget the name of it exactly. But there's what I really love about roguelike is that sense of meta progression.
Yeah.
You died in this wave, but you had enough to unlock certain things, and that'll make the next wave a little bit easier.
Yeah, Risk of Rain.
Yeah.
I would love to do some Risk of Rain with you because I have not beat the first level yet.
Oh dear.
I suck at it. I need help big time.
Big dive. Well, there's what else was kind of an interesting roguelike? Would the Binding of Isaac be considered a?
Binding of Isaac, I'm not sure. I actually have not played Binding of Isaac.
I've like every once in a while I'll be like, yeah, I got if people love this one, and then I'll play like 2 minutes of it, and I'll be like, no, I don't love this one.
It is roguelike, indie,
There you go.
overwhelmingly positive. So
Yeah,
that's
like
cool.
I said, it's one of those games where people are like, this game is the bomb. And I had the same reaction to Undertale.
Okay.
Granted, Undertale made me feel really bad because I've been keyed to do certain things in video games, and the tutorial fight you always do your best in because there's no really major consequences to win or lose.
Yeah.
So with the tutorial fight in Undertale, you fight Goat Mom Toriel, and if you win, you actually kill her.
Oh.
And wow, did I feel bad?
Aw.
Which kudos to the developer. Like that is excellent. Like that. Wow, way to subvert expectations and twist what you consider to be the way to play these games. But
Yeah.
I carried that weight, man. I carried that with me for a while.
I know. I think the roguelike genre is probably what I would describe as my favorite genre that I hardly own any games in.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I really love the genre, but I'm always struggling to find or I guess decide on purchasing a really a good game in that genre. Deck building is the same thing for me. Deck building it's a genre that I own like no games in. I played a little bit of Hearthstone when it came out.
Okay, yeah.
I couldn't really get into it. I always thought deck building. I played a lot of like Star Trek deck building game when like actual physically deck building.
Oh yeah.
So I have like a box of Star Trek cards upstairs, which is like, who the heck has Star Trek cards? Well, this guy does.
This guy. I will, to make you a little cooler. I have the Dune Arbiter of the Change trading card game.
That's sweet, dude. I think
I
like
don't have a lot of them. I have 2 decks, but still.
And then when Yu-Gi-Oh came out, my younger brother was into it, so I kind of got into it with him. And I really always enjoyed the idea of buying decks of cards and boxes of cards and playing a game, and kind of, you might get a really good card, and then you might get really bad cards. Played a little Magic the Gathering, but not a lot. And then, I just kind of got into deck building, and I thought it was really cool until I realized that, like, basically everybody has the most rare card, or you can just now you just go online and buy whatever card you want from the auction sites or the Magic the Gathering card trading sites.
Yeah, you can just build or buy all of the decks.
Yeah, and so, like, to me, it doesn't make sense to create a card building game where you're going to have these limited, special, ultra rare, crazy cards, but then, like, everybody has them. That's why one of the things I want to do someday is make an MMO RPG that has literal rare items. So, like, a sword that there's only one of them in the whole game.
Yeah.
And if you don't play the game, if you don't log in for 30 days, the sword disappears from your inventory and becomes loot again somewhere in the world.
Oh.
So that it's like a legendary item, like ultra epic legendary, but there's only one of them in the game. And create a whole bunch, and like release every week or every month, release new legendary items that only exist one at a time. So they're truly rare. They truly have value. And with deck building games like Hearthstone, I was always like, well, if you play long enough and you spend enough money, right, you can have the best deck and all the cards, but so can everybody else. So where's the uniqueness in it? And for me, it's the collector's portion of that uniqueness that drives me to that genre.
Yeah, I can get behind what you're saying.
So shall we pick a genre?
Let's pick a genre.
Let's all pick a genre. So we got to roll the dice.
Gotta roll.
Are you going to roll the dice today?
You know what? I rolled the dice yesterday. Or last time.
But I get to click the button.
Okay.
I think your job is rolling the dice.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Eagle Claw.
15. All right, let me push this button 15 times. Metroidvania.
Hey! And you get the good one. Have you played Hollow Knight?
I have not played Hollow Knight.
Okay. Hollow Knight is amazing. I loved Hollow Knight, so I might make you play that. Nice.
You know, I had a lot of friends that have played Hollow Knight and loved it and said a lot of good things about it. And I don't even think it's on my wish list.
Really?
It never got on my list. It never became something that I kind of focused on, but it is overwhelmingly positive. So I'll add that to my list, and maybe you'll assign me that game.
Maybe.
So I've got to find you a game now. Yeah. I feel so bad. You know what?
Don't feel bad.
I feel bad. I hate giving you bad games to play.
You absolutely should never, ever feel bad about giving me bad games.
I feel so bad.
Listen, I gave you E.T.
I mean, you did. So one thing is, I'm going to try not to give you necessarily a free-to-play this time, and I'm going to avoid anything that was converted from a mobile game to PC. Any of those types of ports. I want you to have an actual good. Someone took an effort to make this Metroidvania game,
at least,
but maybe it didn't get the best reviews. I don't know that I want to go bottom of the scraping of the barrel. I think I want to just go more like maybe it didn't get such good reviews.
Oh,
you know?
Okay, all right. I mean, you're wrong to do that. But yeah, okay.
You know what? I'm wrong to do a lot of things.
Yeah, well, here we are.
Here we are. Because
Because
there's a lot of like pages of time, and then I just don't want to end up with those games that are like unfinished or nobody actually did anything with it.
Yeah. Fair.
I think someone should start like Slavic Jank Studios and make like a Slavic Jank genre.
I mean, there's a game called Hrot. Hrot. And it is. Whew. And yet, for whatever reason, people are like, this is one of the best. It's overwhelmingly positive on Steam, which is
really
outrageous to me.
So there are some free-to-plays that got like mixed reviews. I'm actually, oddly enough, not seeing a lot of easy picks for bad Metroidvania games. Maybe people don't make a lot of bad Metroidvania games because it's too much work.
I mean, I can get behind, like, I understand that, because like the idea of a Metroidvania is really well interconnected level design, and you can't do that on accident, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not something you just like randomly have happen.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Some of these games look pretty bad, but mixed reviews. So I mean,
Oh, and shout out to my boys at No Man's Land. They recently got their Steam rating to positive.
aw,
So and starting off at I believe they started off at negative reviews. So like that's a grind, and good job guys.
yeah, good job. I mean, hey, you know what? When you put the sweat equity into what you're doing and it pays off, worthwhile.
Worthwhile. Very very happy for them.
So I'm gonna try to pick you one that actually looks good.
No, that's not the point.
The thing is, like, it's got to have bad reviews, but I want it to actually look like a Metroidvania game. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Oh, okay, all
it
right,
has to look like a Metroidvania game.
All right, I'll let that slide then.
Like, I don't want it to just be like somebody, janked a bunch of pre-made stuff together.
Sea of Stars is on sale.
Ooh,
I don't know if you've played Sea of Stars, but like
I have played Sea of Stars.
That was an amazing RPG. They deserve that.
Sea of Stars wasn't that Sea of Stars? Sea of Stars.
Was
you know what? No, I don't have Sea of Stars yet.
Oh.
I have a friend who's playing it. I was thinking
it's a love letter to like all the old Super Nintendo RPGs.
Yeah, it's like
it's beautiful.
It's like a Secret of Mana.
Yeah, very Secret of Mana, very like Chrono Trigger. It's gorgeous, absolutely beautiful game. But and you can tell the developers like love the genre, which is huge. That's such an important thing.
Yeah, it's fun. You always can tell when a game is so made by love of the genre. Yeah. Someone who played Secret of Mana or something at some point and went, someday I want to make that game.
I want to make a Secret of Mana.
Yeah. All right, I got a few ones picked out. Oh, there's a few really bad ones here. Ooh. I feel like I can't go like super bad though.
Yeah, you can.
Oh gosh.
Remember what I gave you. Remember the Viking.
Remember the 5th of November. So the goal for me is to get you a game that you can actually play, that like actually plays through. Because I don't want to get you a game like when we played Age of Pyramids. Age of Pyramids didn't really play through. It was like it wasn't finished. You couldn't actually like get past a certain point.
Yeah, it was more of a demo, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was more of a demo. So I want to get you something that's at least mostly finished. Okay, so I've picked a game that has lots of negative reviews.
Okay, all right.
Ultimately, it's mixed. It's mixed reviews. So I'm not going like, because I only found 2 that were like really, really bad reviews and they kind of don't look really playable. I'm thinking I'm going to go with, this game is called Void Memory.
Void Memory.
Void Memory. It is free to play.
I mean, free to play, not free to play, that's not the make or break for me, but.
Yeah, and it's by a developer named Gustav.
Oh.
The developer is Gustav. The publisher is also Gustav.
My second favorite Swedish monarch.
Yeah, so he's Gustav. So, Void Memory. You who was born in a world full of darkness should wander this hallowed land to find the relics for a person who created you. However, fallen and lost souls with trap-filled trials await in your course of doing so. Can you survive in this crumbling world and start a new era? A new era. So Void Memory, this is your game. Your assignment is Void Memory.
Thank you. Yours will be Hollow Knight. Now, we can do the hot swap, and you can just jump on my account because I own it and I love it.
I'm gonna buy it.
You're buying it.
You know what? It's been recommended to me for like the last 4, 5, 6 years, and I just never took the time. So I'm gonna buy it.
You're gonna buy it. You're gonna buy it.
And you know me, I feel that I want to support when I can and when I am in a position to do so, to support game developers.
There you go.
Because I really want game developers to keep developing games.
And to that point, Hollow Knight was developed by Team Cherry. They're a small Gindie team out of Adelaide, South Australia. And there's a really lot of good stuff going on. There's also the sequel to Hollow Knight coming out soon called Silk Song. And all nothing but cool things to that. I got nothing but love for these boys. So Hollow Knight, excellent game. It's very Metroid, or it's closer to Castlevania than to Metroid. So it's going to be a little bit harder than you're going to. So be aware that there will be combat you have to be aware of.
I'm not gonna lie, I love the art style.
Oh, it's gorgeous! Like this game, I'm telling you, when I first played it, I got not the bad ending, but like not the great ending. And then it was one of the first games I've ever gone through and like I gotta go through this and get the good ending now.
Yeah.
Anyway. So your assignment's Hollow Knight, my assignment's Void Memory. Mine's installed. I'm launching now.
Very good. I have...
Oh, thank God they have a new game load game option. So they have a save file system.
Oh, thank God. Well, that's the other thing too. Like, I want to pick bad games or games with bad reviews, but I want them to be functional wherever possible. I mean, sometimes it's just fun to play a broken game.
Yeah, it can
Honestly, I enjoyed playing the last couple broken games I've played. But
there's a joy there. I'll give you that.
But I think, yeah, I'm excited for Hollow Knight. It's downloading, so it's about, well, it's downloaded. It's about a gig. It's not bad. All right, well, I'm going to delve into Hollow Knight and wish you the best of luck in
Thank you.
Void Memory.
Thank you. I know you're going to love Hollow Knight.
I hope Void Memory proves to be better than the reviews. I do, because I just...
You want that for me?
I do want that for you, man. I want that for me. And but I do want you to tear it apart where it needs to be torn apart.
You're a good soul. I would have given you / adventure and not even blinked.
You know what? If a game was called / adventure and it was like a Dance Dance Revolution, I'd play it.
You'd play it?
Yep. So make me a /
slashes to develop a / adventure.
/ adventure, and it's a rhythm slashing game. Sign me up. Make it VR, and I'm in even more. Yeah,
and I'm in.
Totally.
Done. You know what? It's already exceeding expectations. There's an opening cutscene.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, like I said, I wanted to pick something with bad reviews, but that has that looks complete. Yeah, that way you can get the whole experience, good or bad.
Oh, actually, where are we for time here?
We're probably wrapping up. I'm going to finish this boss, and then I think I'm timed out.
All right, that's fair.
I'm going to try. I mean, I'm probably going to die, but you know what? I'm going to give it an honest to God try.
Honest to God try. There you go. Oh, no. Son of a pistachio.
Oh, he killed me. What?
What?
I had full health.
You most certainly... Oh, you wake up on the bench.
Well, all right. Progress will be saved. Well, that's nice to know.
Void Memory.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hollow Knigget.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let's start with the good. How was it? I know you were having some struggles there, so I'm sorry to hear it, but...
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm struggling, but that's just a me problem. I think, okay, so Hollow Knight, I don't really understand much about the story yet. You're this little dude that's like lost in kind of an abyss. I'm assuming like a Reaper of Souls kind of deal. And so I've kind of adventured a little bit, found a little town, got not a lot of backstory. I don't really know what's going on with Hollow Knight too much yet. But the game is so smooth. The artwork's great. Definitely recommend playing with a controller. And I don't like playing games with controllers. But I'm a keyboard mouse guy, and this is just purely keyboard. And so if it's purely keyboard, I think controller would be a lot more fun. I'm enjoying it. I think the graphics are phenomenal. I think everything about it is great. I love the art style. I love the gameplay. Love the responsiveness of it. Definitely giving me callbacks to Super Metroid, which is, again, favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
Well, probably not if I really think about all time.
But it's up there.
Super Metroid, favorite Metroidvania game, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm loving it, man. I think I've heard about all the hype over Hollow Knight for years and years and years, from the day it was released, on different groups that I was in, chat groups, Discord groups, things like that. So yeah, I'm happy that I got a chance to play it. I'm going to get a controller. I'm going to pair the controller. And then I will beat the heck out of this game.
I'm going to beat this game.
Yeah, I keep mixing, like, Z is jump, X is attack.
Yeah.
A is like power up and like heal. And I think, being on a controller, I could easily coordinate that.
Yeah, because it's all there.
But Z and X are not normal controls for most keyboard mouse games I play, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, X jump, no, wait, Z jump, no, wait, X attack. And like, I get it, X makes sense. X is the spot attack, right?
Yeah, there it is.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, so I think controls-wise, definitely need to play with a controller. But I love it. I want to play a lot of Hollow Knight. I think
That makes me happy.
I looked at the clock and I was like, oh yeah, it's been at least an hour, but it feels like 15 minutes. And you know that a game is good when time is passing quickly.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So I won't get into ratings yet. I want to know about Void Memory. Tell me about Void Memory. I feel like that's me in about 40 years.
Void Memory, yeah. Okay, so like, what I gleaned from the story, very basic kind of cookie cutter. The world has shattered. It's not what it was, and you are the last attempt to restore it to its glory. You play a phantom, which is like a nameless sort of homunculus that is summoned by a mage, and she stays in her base and sends you out, which is how sort of that die again is played out here. So you're always the same homunculus, but you're just resummoned, right? So your goal is to capture these relics. I didn't even get close to a relic, but that's okay. The game itself, I believe that if this game had more than 2 people working on it, I would be shocked. The art style, everything's very simplistic. It's not bad per se, but it definitely feels like someone picked up a learn how to draw anime from the 90s kind of art style.
I had like 6 of those books.
Yeah, and it's all the angled chin, the big eyes, the little checkmark nose, and that's fine. Like I'm not bashing anything. I'm just saying that it's very telling of a time and an era. Game, it's not poorly designed. It's not. It's very boring. Like it's not anything new. You hold right. Sometimes you hit things with swords. Sometimes you hit things with whips. The vast majority of the enemies are cannon fodder. And then when you run into an enemy that's a little more difficult, it's like, oh, now I have to think, right? So, I would not be surprised if this was like a project game or something. It's really well done in that respect, but it's boring. It's not doing anything new. Even its like overarching story's been done before, like the Elden Ring, Dark Souls, all of that, right? Hollow Knight. You haven't gotten too deep into the story yet, but Hollow Knight. It's all there, and I'm not angry at it. I just don't care. Like nothing about it grabbed me. Okay. It wasn't interesting in any regard.
Yeah, I find games in a genre that has so many different options, you really have to have some kind of mechanic that stands out or something in your game that stands out to make it something interesting. And I mean, when you go down the path, and I know I'm experiencing this right now, when you go down the path of trying to create your own video game, you definitely go, I want to build a game that I would have fun to play. And I think that most game designers probably go in thinking, I want to make this game a fun game I would like to play. But the challenge with that is that sometimes you create a game that you'd like to play, but so you end up just building the same games that you love to play already.
Yeah.
Versus when I criticize a game or critique a game, I always think I would do this differently by adding this different mechanic or this different mechanic, or I would go about this in a different way that would stand out and kind of stand apart from the games and the genres that I like. So I think, yeah, the folly of building your own game is that you can end up creating something that is just the same thing that's already been done.
Yeah.
Are you writing a review?
No, yeah.
Is it scathing?
It's not scathing. It's just it's very honest. I'm again, and we've had this talk many times on this podcast. I'm not interested. Well, there's 2 times where I was interested, but in general, I'm not interested in making the designer or putting the designer on blast. Someone took the time to make this game, and they wanted to make a game, and that is something I want people to do. I want you to make games. I love games. I want more games. It's just you don't get better unless someone critiques you and offers you suggestions. And equally important, you have to be able to take those, right? You have to be able to get that sort of criticism. People need to give it to you, and you need to be able to absorb it. So yes, I'm going to be critical about this game. I'm not here to say you suck, never make another video game, because no, there's general competence. Everything works, right? There's nothing that seemed janky. The art style, while super simplistic, was cohesive. Nothing felt out of place. Everything tied together. The characters were there. The world was there. It was good in that regard. It calls back early Castlevania games. It calls back Altered Beast, Ghouls and Goblins. Like all of these very early 90s, late 80s.
Joe and Mac.
Yeah. Toe Jam and Earl.
No, Toe Jam and Earl. Yeah.
Like it calls back those games, and it's really cohesive in that regard. It's not interesting. Nothing done here is new or compelling.
So I picked it for you because when I saw the preview videos, the art style looked kind of interesting. Interesting in the sense of it's a Metroidvania game for sure.
Yeah.
One of them was he swung a giant sword.
You do swing a giant sword.
And I was like, that's kind of cool. Giant swords are fun. So I was kind of hopeful that little tiny 5-second, 10-second skim that I got of the preview video would make it interesting for you, nonetheless, even though going in knowing that it's a game that has a lot of bad reviews. Right?
Yeah. And how about you?
Well, you know what? Why don't I get into ratings?
Ooh,
so
ratings time. It's time for another rating.
I'm singing in the ratings.
Oh, don't sing in the ratings. No, that's how you slip and fall.
So graphics and art.
Go.
Okay, so I love it. I mean, I think I have a challenge around graphics and art ratings because for me, I think of games like The Witcher 3. For me, is like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. For me, like a Cyberpunk graphics are like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, right? If we're just talking graphics. Yeah, so for graphics and art with Hollow Knight, I think I'm going to rate it in comparison with other 2D platformers and Metroidvania. I think the graphics and art, at first I was kind of like, okay, great, it's a 2D game. You know, what can you expect from it? And I think that's why I didn't buy Hollow Knight for a long time. But when you are in the different parts of the world and you're like, oh, there's these worms coming out of the ground and attacking me. And I can easily avoid them if I know how to jump. But when you look in the background, you see like there's stuff going on in the background too. Like there's further depth to this 2D world where there's other worms kind of popping in and out, and they're kind of animation sequences going on behind the scenes. And I think they really nailed it. I think the art style being very 2D, very kind of noir, dark, black and white. There's a little color dabbled in there with like the fireball bugs that launch their little fireballs at you.
Yeah.
But no, I love the aesthetic. I love the art style. I have absolutely no criticisms for the art style because I think it was going for simplistic, and I kind of like that they have it being simplistic but not ugly.
Yeah.
Right?
What I really loved about that game was everything flowed. Like everything was very smooth, the animations, all of that.
Yeah. So for graphics and art style, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I mean, I think Hollow Knight is a beautiful game. I think it's very well built. Like I said, it's smooth. Even the frame rate's nice. Like, I mean, it's 2D, so I mean, your frame rate's going to be good, but it's consistent. It doesn't stutter. It's a very well-designed game. I've played some 2D platformers that are very stuttery or janky, or certain animations kind of just weren't built well. And I think this, aside from the fact that I lost to the boss, even though I thought I was going to win, because I was like, I got this. You got it. I messed up on jump versus attack a few too many times. And
that'll get you, yep.
You know what? If I switch to a controller, I will own this game. I will ace this game for sure. And what I love about that is that I have not had a reason to pair a controller to my computer the entire time I've owned it. The one time I did was I paired a PlayStation 3 DualShock controller to play Rocket League to try. And I actually preferred mouse and keyboard in Rocket League. But I actually feel like I would 100% prefer a controller for Hollow Knight. I think the last time I actually got a controller specifically to play a game, I bought the Super Nintendo style controller, which was a plug-in controller.
Interesting. Okay.
That was not USB. It was like the gamepad, game port, 9-pin, plug it in the back kind of serial port.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And I used to use that with the SNES emulator back in the day, way back in the day, like before Nintendo started suing everybody for using emulators. But that was it had like the little D-pad, it had like the A, B buttons. It was basically a Super Nintendo controller.
Uh-huh.
But that was specifically to play games like Super Metroid or play games like Final Fantasy VI, which I also owned on Super Nintendo, but I really wanted to play on PC because it's just easier to. Computer monitors were more fun to play on than televisions.
Especially during those days.
Well, and I had a flat panel, monitor, but I still had a CRT television.
Oh,
so,
the good old CRTs.
yeah. So the reason I bring that up is that gameplay for me, I'm going to give gameplay a 10 out of 10 because I feel that this is compelling me to go grab a controller and plug it in because I really want to enjoy the entirety of the gameplay because I love these style of games. Like Super Metroid is a 10 out of 10 game for me in every single aspect, even graphics and art, like for its time. And I think that Hollow Knight lives up to that. And so for Metroidvania, 10 out of 10 gameplay. Music, I didn't, and I hate to say this because the ambience was nice, but the music didn't stand out to me at all.
Okay, that's fair.
It didn't seem like there was some grandiose symphonic thing going on with the music.
Uh-huh.
Now I only played for an hour, so I'm not really sure. Does the music pick up? What other kind of pacing do they have? And I didn't hate the music. I didn't love the music, and it didn't really stand out for me much.
The soundtrack is available on Steam for sale, but yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
And maybe it's good, but my initial impressions are like a 6 out of 10.
That's fair.
But I feel like that's maybe intentional. Maybe the focus is on the gameplay, and that's why the gameplay is a 10 out of 10. I didn't feel like the focus was on the music. I feel like that was kind of like we absolutely 100% matched the ambience and the artwork and what we were going for, but maybe it's not going to stand out.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion.
Hey, man.
Even if it's trash.
That's just like your opinion, man.
Hollow Knight, fun. Initial impressions, 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
I think
baby.
it's fun. It is, if you want to play a Metroidvania game or a platformer and you want to have fun,
That's it.
Hollow Knight is killing it. I have no complaints about the controls, the gameplay. I mean, other than I suck on a keyboard, I have no bad things to say. Now, again, I want to go back and maybe I'll play through Hollow Knight and we'll do maybe a revisit episode at some point where we can choose where we can choose a game that we're gonna play for a weekend and then come back and revisit.
That would be I'm down.
Because I think this is a game I'd love to I'm playing a little more Sunless Sea. I'm playing a little more Outpost 2 and a little more Titanfall 2. But Hollow Knight, I want to play the crap out of Hollow Knight. I want to come back to it. So
it's an excellent game. I've beaten it twice.
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 for general rating. I think this is a 9 out of 10 game.
So I guess the hard easy question is seal of approval, right?
Stamp of approval is a no-brainer. Yeah.
Done.
I mean, I'll tell you, I feel bad for not picking up Hollow Knight back in 2017 when everyone was hyping it. But I was playing like hundreds of hours of Hearth and Home on Skyrim. They released the DLC for that.
Oh, yeah, I guess that came out about the same time, yeah.
Yeah, and that might have been later. That might have been like 2019. But I remember playing a lot of Skyrim still back then. The Witcher 3 was really big for me, kind of between 2017
Witcher 3 was huge.
and 2020. I was kind of more into those RPGs, so I just kind of glazed over Hollow Knight and skipped over it and kind of went, it's not really my style of game. But I'm getting like the craving to go play Super Metroid again. And I'm like, why go back and play Super Metroid, which I've beat literally like 10 times already?
Yeah.
Why not see Hollow Knight through? So yeah, Hollow Knight, 9 out of 10. That's my stamp of approval. Go and play it. If you haven't picked it up and you like that style of game, definitely hit it up.
Definitely.
I know there's people out there that hate platformers.
Well,
I feel bad for you because you're missing out.
You really are, but that's okay. You just need to find Hollow Knight, and Hollow Knight will make you better.
So now to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Oh yeah.
I need to know what your ratings are.
Void Memories.
I need to know.
Well, the thing about Void Memories is much like the name. There's nothing. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just there.
It does it even fill a void?
No, it is a void.
Uh,
I mean, your main character sets the stage because you're a phantom, right? You have nothing. You have no soul, no spark. You're a featureless entity. It's just. But everything was technically well done, right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, our first ranking's art, right?
Graphics and art.
Graphics and art. 4.5.
4.5 out of 10.
Because there was nothing exciting about it, and there's nothing bad about it.
It did look to me to be very, like, better than Super Nintendo, but
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was
maybe
like
not so better.
Super Graphics X, or
Yeah.
you know, like it was. And again, everything was cohesive. There was nothing janky. Everything flowed. The characters were designed for the environment. The environment was designed for the characters. It's all there, but it was missing that like spark that truly elevates it, right? And what's next? Sound?
Music,
Music.
sound, audio.
There wasn't a lot of music. It was very ambient, sort of rain falling and dark, like.
Okay.
So, like, again, 4.5.
4.5. You know what I really loved about the old Castlevania games, which I was shite at, and I've never beaten a single Castlevania game. What I really enjoyed about Castlevania was the kind of like the MIDI background music.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was very catchy. And like Super Metroid, like
it had like
some
that,
really
that
like,
synth, like
it had some really like synths, some really catchy kind of music.
Yeah.
Like when you're going through and it's like I can't even like imitate it, but it's just so good. When you go fight Ridley, like when you do the boss fights, when it's like ding 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 ding, right? Like it was so good, and I think that platformer games, if they can really nail the music, it can really add to the fun of the game.
I agree. I wholeheartily agree. And again, it was competently done, but there was nothing joyful or exciting about it. It was the games I loved had this music, so I'll have this music.
You're making me yawn, man.
I'm sorry, man.
That's what happens when we play games that aren't super exciting.
Yeah, right. And what's the next one? Gameplay?
Gameplay. Yeah, gameplay fun, and then your overall general rating.
Gameplay fun of my overall general rating. Gameplay, I'll give a 5. We'll go up to a 5 on gameplay.
Okay.
Because again, it was competently done. Attacks could be easily understood. Boss fights telegraphed, easily understood. Like nothing about it was frustrating. But nothing about it was interesting.
Yeah, I think a 5 out of 10 is like the baseline of it was playable.
Yeah, and it was very playable. If this was someone's like technical project to show, listen, I can program this kind of game, I can art this kind of game, I would, absolutely slap that on your resume. But as like a game where you're like, I love Metroidvanias, I love them, and I want to make my own, and I want people to experience them, that joyous spark just wasn't there. So 5 out of 10.
Yeah. So fun.
Unfortunately for me, this will drop down to a 4.
Okay.
Not because I wasn't frustrated by anything. I wasn't dismayed by anything. I did not understand anything. Everything was pretty understandable, and there were challenges. There were not challenges, but all the while I was playing this game and I was looking over at Hollow Knight going, oh, this is what independent Metroidvanias can be, right? Because Team Cherry is a small studio. It's more than one person, and I'd be surprised if Void Memory was more than 2 people. But at the same time, you could make a Hollow Knight with one person with a very small scope.
Yeah.
Hollow Knight's fairly large, all things considered.
Yeah, I feel like Hollow Knight's definitely a team, like a game made by a team.
Oh,
of
it's
people,
a studio. It's a full studio.
like artists and audio engineers and specialists. Yeah.
I'd be shocked if it was more than 20 people, but it is a studio, right?
Yeah, I think a Hollow Knight game you could do with like 6 to 10 people in a team for sure.
Yeah. And with one person, you could do aspects of that. Scaled down, of course. Maybe have, less screens, less things like that, maybe make some sacrifices in the art style. But at the end of the day, you could do something as joyful as Hollow Knight is. And it lacked that spark of creativity. And again, I'm not saying to stop making games. This game is competently done. It's really well made in that regard. It's not interesting. So maybe go discover that joy that made you love these sorts of games and try to put it in there. Oh, and it looks like he's made a few games.
Yeah, so
I'm glad of that.
Keep making games, Gustav.
Keep making games, Gustav. You're not bad at them. It's just there's an element of joy that I want you to discover in that. And you know what? I'm gonna look at some of your catalog, Gustav. I'm gonna look at some of the stuff you made. I'm gonna play them.
Yeah, Gustav's got Cat in the Box, which is an horror RPG Maker game. So dabbling with RPG Maker a little bit, which I've dabbled in RPG Maker, but I never decided to build anything because I would have just made like a Chrono Trigger clone or a Final Fantasy clone. Yeah. Right. And I wasn't interested in making a clone. Yeah. So Cat in the Box is an interesting RPG Maker game. Potato Survival. That sounds interesting. It's a casual 2D simulation education funny called Potato Survival, and it's got very positive reviews. So good job, Gustav. There
you go. See, Gustav, I'm rooting for you, and I want you to go out there and make cool things. I do, because again, you've proven that you can do these very competent, well-designed games. My only issue with Void Memory is there was no joy, no spark.
Yeah.
So as far as what's my last one? Seal of approval? No, I can't give you.
Yeah, you've got your kind of general rating.
General rating 5 out of 10. There was nothing bad, nothing good.
So 5 out of 10, like that means like you could play it. It just might not do anything special for you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Condition now, stamp of approval requires. Would you recommend this game?
No, I wouldn't. And that's not because again it's not bad, right? It's just if I'm going to recommend a Metroidvania to somebody, I'm going to recommend Hollow Knight.
Yeah,
which I did today. If I'm going to recommend a Gustav game to somebody, it's not going to be this. It's going to be something else in your catalog. Maybe that potato game that's overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, honestly, Potato Survival. I mean, you know what, Gustav? It's $5. I promise you, I will buy and play Potato Survival just to try it.
There you go. I'll check it out.
It looks funny and it's got mostly positive reviews. Very positive. So
there you go, man. And with that, I guess we're coming to the tail end here.
We are coming to the tail end. We came, we saw, we played, we conquered.
Yeah. And as Son Goku looks at me from your screen, your wallpaper.
Yes. Ultra Instinct Son Goku.
Ultra Instinct Son Goku.
I really enjoy Metroidvania. I'm really happy that we got to revisit it today a little bit. I think that there's so many good games out there, and so many genres out there. There's so many bad games out there, but even big studios made bad games, like E.T.
Oh, yeah, E.T.
Right?
Well, was E.T. a big studio or was it a big name, right?
Oh, it was a big name, big and big backers, right? I mean, you have
big backers, for sure.
We made a ton of money on this movie. Let's make a game.
Yeah,
and it still turned out bad. So,
but then again, Atari games could be cranked out by 4 people.
You mentioned Goku staring back.
Yeah.
And I'll harken back to Akira Toriyama.
Of course.
Knowing that he's recently passed. And I will say that Akira Toriyama was not successful in the first several manga that he distributed and made.
Yeah.
But he kept at it and he kept pushing and he finally made some inroads and became one of the most prolific manga artists in the world. And I think it's important for people like Gustav and anyone else out there that's making video games that is not finding success or maybe is not finding the success they hoped for, keep at it. Don't give up because one of these days you will make a game.
You'll make your Dragon Ball.
You'll make your Dragon Ball, right? So keep at it, have fun, and
Yeah, don't die.
Don't die.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's our time and the end of our episode.
But don't feel sad it's over. Be glad it happened. From the two of us in the basement, thanks for tuning in.
Join us next time.
And feel free to send us any feedback on our socials or send us a direct email at bfcpcontact@gmail.com.
And if you're really interested in what we're doing, join us on Patreon, where we will have loads of behind-the-scenes stuff and uncut takes as more episodes are released.
We're always excited to hear from you because we love engagement. We look forward to our next Catapult launch and hope you can join us for the ensuing chaos.
Good luck.
See you next time. And honestly, if you as a female listener, asked a male, hey, do you want to come over and play video games? And they said, no, I'd rather watch sports. Hey, you're avoiding a good red flag there anyway.
There you go. You're
Not that sports are bad. I'm just saying, like, if you like video games and they like sports, you're probably not going to play a lot of video games unless it's
Madden
sports.
It's in the game.
It's kind of lame.
NHL 2027 now? Like, what are we up to?
Yeah, every year, one for every year.
And what really bothers me is, like, 9 times out of 10, it's just a roster update. Like, they haven't done anything to justify a new title.